Hi, I'm making a video to show you what plants we have growing in our small tree nursery here in southwest Scotland. I'll start to show you what we have growing in our small tree nursery here in southwest Scotland by recording footage of the back area, which hasn't been maintained very much this year. Here we have the Pinkcurrants Gloire de Sablons. We only have a few of them. I'll have to see how much more they will grow by the end of the season, by autumn. This is kind of the currants they make. They can be slightly larger as well, but yes, they're pinkish, translucent. They're very nice and sweet, similar to white currants as well. Very different from red currants and black currants. Very, very delicious bush to have, which will make delicious berries. These are some of the hazel trees grown from cob nuts. That's the first one that was planted from cob nut. It's the tallest of them. It's probably like almost 4 years, 3 years and a half now. So you can see how much they can grow. I haven't done much to it, just slightly pruned it. Of course you can train them and take better care of them. I just wanted to see how it will develop. Here are a few more, just to show you how the trunk is doing. And these are the shoots. These are two different ones, so I can take these out and sell them. These were planted at the same time as that one, if I'm not mistaken, or a year later, but they didn't sprout. The cob nuts didn't sprout until the next year, so that's why they're slightly smaller. This is different. Here's the hazel. But let's go back, or let's go in the front garden to show you what we have growing there, because that's where the main plants are for the tree nursery. Actually, I will show you some of the hazels that we have here. These were grown last year. Most of them are hazels, but we have other plants in here like hydrangeas, lilac, wild lilac, red currants and black currants. They're not all for selling, but most of them are. The hazels certainly are for selling. Here we have some red currants, black currants, but these are not for sale. Or these, there are certain varieties which are patented, so we're growing them just for our garden. Here you can see some of the willows. Those are also for our garden, but you can see more of the hazels in here. We'll see how much more they will grow until the autumn. The soil is not terribly rich here, but it's alright. From here we probably have hazel saplings which will be around, well, starting from 2 pounds. Here we have some of the larger hazels. They were planted similarly, but the soil in this bathtub was richer when I put it in, so they thrived in here compared to other areas in the garden. So these are probably going to be more expensive. I'll have to see how they look exactly after the leaves fall, but some of these might be even 10 pounds just because they have several branches, lateral branches, and a leader, so, and the root system is amazing. But yeah, as mentioned, the hazels will be between 2 and 10 pounds. All the hazel saplings are grown from cob nuts, which make larger nuts, but because they're planted not from cultivars, they're planted from seed, they will all be different, but they will be hazelnuts basically. I've got pictures, I've got videos in on my channel, in previous videos. You can see how I planted them, how they looked like, how large nuts were. Yeah, I absolutely love hazel trees. They're amazing. You can do so many things with it, but with the hazel trees. But this is for another video. In this one I'll just show you what plants we have. We have some more small ones in here growing with some strawberries, but I'm not sure if I'll sell these ones this year. I might let them grow for another year. They're very crowded in here with strawberries, and the reason why I planted them together is because rich soil is limited in our garden. We're enriching the soil. It used to be a lawn most of our garden when we moved here, and we're enriching the soil every year. So we planted it together because the soil was nicer in here compared to other plants of the other parts of the garden. Here we have a persimmon tree. This is not for sale, just for our garden. You can see how some of the red currants are, in case you've never seen red currants and don't know what to expect. We have a few varieties in here. We will only be selling Rovada red currants because the other ones are patented, if I'm not mistaken. I'll have to check exactly and I'll put a list. We'll have some strawberries as well. Here is the Rosetta red currant. You can see it's loaded, and I've covered it with a mesh because otherwise the birds would strip the bush. The GVT has finished already. We've been eating from it for the last couple of weeks. Here's a Jostaberry. We have some plants of Jostaberry for sale. This absolutely needs to go in the sun. You can see, because then it will produce more Jostaberries. If you don't know what they are, they're a cross between a gooseberry and a currant, a blackcurrant if I'm not mistaken. They're nice and sweet, not terribly sweet. They're supposed to be darker, but it's been growing here in the shade, so it grew a lot, but it hasn't produced many berries. So what I would say, if you plant this variety, is to put it in the sun if you want more berries. But either way, it grows very well, very easily. It's very thick at the base. It was quite large as well when it arrived compared to the other plants, but yeah, it grew really easily. Oh, that dark one was really nice. We have some more hazels in here. They are quite large as well, similar to the ones in the bathtub box. Depending on the soil, as mentioned, they grew faster or slower. These ones are doing really well, and the ones in the bathtub. Here we have a white currant, finished. No more berries, we've been eating them for the last few days. Here are the Jostaberry plants. I was kind of disappointed with them because, for example, these bushes, you can see they're quite large, but they haven't fruited very much. They're just like here and there, and I was quite disappointed. But trying those gooseberries, or those Jostaberries just now, they taste really nice. A little bit like grapes, a little bit like blackcurrant, a little bit like gooseberry. So it's a different flavor to have. They do need to be quite black rather than in between to have the nicest taste. And I would say plant them in the sun, because if you put them in the shade they won't produce many berries. They will grow well. These were just small cuttings when I put them in. I have 4 of them here. You can see how thick they are at the base. They're only like 3 years old, and the soil in here was very compact. It was just a lawn, and we've been enriching it. So we have 2 large here, 3 kind of, two larger ones and 2 smaller ones. This one is like leaning. So we'll see. I was planning to sell them, and I think I will, because I can take cuttings from the other one and grow more. But yeah, these are the Jostaberries we have for sale, 4 of them. And I think we've got cuttings as well, if I'm not mistaken, in the other side. I'll have to see in the autumn how well they grew. In that side where I showed you the hazels. Here in the front garden, partially front garden, partially back garden, we have a variety of plants, mostly hazel, white currants, oak, potatoes, gooseberries, elder. Here are the hazels. Here we have some strawberries as well, a variety Malvina. Here are some of the oak. Here are some of the elder cuttings. We grew them this spring. We put them in the soil this spring, I mean. I think there's about 20 in here. We'll see how much more they grow until autumn. They're from this one. This is a variety which is more lime colored if they're in the sun. If they're in the shade, they can turn darker like the common elder, but if they're in the sun, they will be more like this color. Elder grows amazingly. This is, I think this was planted in 2024 or 2023 actually. Can't remember exactly. And I've been pruning it to take cuttings and stuff, and you can see it's as tall, almost as tall as my neighbor's shed, which is a big shed. Here we have gooseberry invicta. We've been eating from this bush for the last few weeks. This makes really large gooseberries, much larger than those on the branches. I've been picking the larger ones and eating them. They can be even double in size and turn yellowish green, kind of that color. They're ripe when they're slightly soft. This one is a bit soft but still quite hard, and in that case it will be tart. But yes, as I mentioned, these are amazing. They can be double in size. They're very interesting, also similar to grapes. Very, very nice. Just remove these bits here. They look a bit furry, but they're not annoying at all. They're very soft. I'm layering them, so I'll be planting more in our garden. It will be a while until we'll have plants for sale, and I'm not sure, this might be patented. I'm not sure if I can sell this variety, but it's definitely worth buying some of these plants if you like the taste of grapes, something like that. Just be aware these are thorny. And we have another gooseberry captivator, which is a red variety in there. This video was supposed to be just about the plants I'll have to offer, but it's just to show you, to give you ideas of what to grow in your garden as well. So yeah, we have a rhubarb there as well. Let's go to the plants that we actually will have for sale this autumn. So we have a lot of elder, Blackcurrant Titania just over there. Yeah, the elder is just over here on the edge. Some will be for sale, most of them. So this is a Titania bush. I think it was planted in 2024, if I'm not mistaken. And we've been taking cuttings from it as well. And again, remember what I mentioned, this garden was mostly a lawn. You can see on Facebook, I posted a photo recently, or 2 photographs. You can see how this area was just a compacted lawn. It still needs a lot of mulch to be very rich soil, but it's doing really well for now. I've been adding a lot of wood chips. Here we have more of the oak saplings. We'll see how much more they grow. These ones struggled a lot. These struggle to grow because the soil is very compacted here, so I've been adding a lot of mulch around and at their base to help them send their roots. But yeah, they're growing very slow compared to other plants which had richer soil at the base. But yes, these will have for sale this autumn as well. We'll see how many plants will be able to sell and which will remain for another year to grow. We have a lot of redcurrants, variety Rovada, but this one, they might be small. This is a hazel. They might be small because I put them in to grow this spring. These are just second year bushes. If I remember correctly, I planted them last year or late the previous year in the autumn. I've been documenting in the diary, but it's kind of hard to keep them in mind, to keep all of them in mind, all the varieties. Here we have, but let's first finish with the currants. So we have the Titania, which I think we have about 10 of them, maybe less. Some are quite small and I won't be selling those. But these ones, for example, these ones, they're nice size. So those will probably be about 5 or 8 pounds. We'll see how much more they grow until the autumn. Here we have some hydrangeas as well. They will be similar in price. Some are better developed than others. This is a variety which makes bluish pink blooms depending on the soil we give them. We give it. This is that hydrangea variety I was telling you about. It was in the garden when we moved, so I don't know what variety it is. I just know it's a beautiful plant. It has both pink and blue blooms, so this is what you can expect from those plants. They're massive blooms, massive flowers. Oh, and yes, as I was telling you, I do have a few more Jostaberries in here, but they might be still small, so I'll probably leave them for another year to grow. And see more hydrangeas as well. This is a fig tree brown turkey, and we've got young saplings of this one. It's been here in the sun, so I think they're suffering a bit, although fig trees normally like heat, and I did water them a little bit in the last few days. But I love the leaves. They have a very beautiful, they're very ornamental, but the advantage is they're supposed to give us figs as well, but they will need to be more protected in areas such as southwest Scotland. Here this one is in full wind, so but hopefully it will be okay because it also receives a lot of sun. Anyway, I'll go and show you the saplings we have from the fig. Here they are. They're still quite small, but they're healthy. By the way, I don't spray my plants, my trees with anything. It's all that comes from above. if there's any toxicity in the air, there's nothing I can do about it other than plant more trees and plants to improve the air quality, and also putting a lot of beautiful mulch and some mycelium at the base that will heal the soil, make it more rich. So these are the saplings of fig that we have. I have to be careful where I step on here, because in this empty area and there as well we have planted saffron, so this hopefully in this area will have purple blooms in the autumn, and we'll be able to harvest the saffron as well, the spice, and we'll be able to cook with that. So these are the figs. Here's another currant, blackcurrant. But yeah, these are the figs. We'll see how much more they sell and how much more they grow, but they will probably sell for about £5 in the autumn. And because these are taken from the mother plant, they will probably give figs sooner, rather than, like for example, we planted that one in 2023, so we had to wait. We're still waiting for them to fruit, so yeah, it will hopefully take less time for them to bear fruit, but they will need nice soil to develop faster. So if you give them a lot of loving care, they will reward you. Yes, this is the saplings that we have. Still just a few. We're enriching our plant collection every year. We only have a few at the moment, but we have varieties that we like to go to eat, like fruits we like to eat. This is Redcurrant Rovada ripening on the bush. Some rhubarb. I've got a lot of red currants growing in the garden because I love red currants. They're easy to grow as well. Beautiful plant. This video ended up being quite long and I'm not finished yet. It's a lot of rambling, but yeah, I'm trying to show you as much as possible so you can see how they grow, the environment, stuff like that. This is the elder, common elder. Some more hazels growing in here. This was very compacted and it still is. Needs a lot of work here. This is aurea, making the berries this year. Not for sale for now, anyway. Here we have some more potted hazel. Some of the yarrow. I'm not 100% sure this is the wild one because it has a slight tinge of rose. The wild one is supposed to be white, so I can't tell you 100% that it's medicinal, but I know the wild one is. You can heal cuts, for example. It's supposed to, from what I've heard, other nursery people who had direct experience after cutting themselves while grafting trees, they put yarrow on the wound, leaf or the powder, like crushed, the plant crushed, and it stopped the bleeding like almost instantly. I haven't tried it myself, so I can't actually tell you that I experienced it myself, but the source I've heard it from is very reliable, and you can find plenty of information about that online. And it's a very beautiful plant in my opinion anyway. Look at these tiny little flowers, It's so beautiful. I've planted this spring a mix of like coral colored ones and some yellow ones. Some of them sprouted. I'm expecting next year they'll do better. They're in another part of the garden by the front gate. But yeah, and I love the foliage. It's very, very beautiful. And it grows easily, doesn't fuss. It's very, very beautiful plant. I'll collect some to make tea because I think it should be fine. It's very good for stomach pains. You can see here, it's very good for pollinators. They love coming here. It's just a very beautiful plant. It does spread, but it doesn't bother me because in our compacted soil, which we are currently enriching, I'm not afraid it spreads. And if it does, I'll just move it in other parts of the garden or sell it as part of the nursery. Here we have some more oak. Here we have some sorrel. I've been picking and eating this for the last few days. You can make really large leaves, even double in size. We've been eating. These are smaller now. We planted them from seed and then moved a few plants this spring. Moved them in here. We have some chives over there, some rosemary, some apple mint, golden delicious apple, pink currant. This was a tiny, I think it was like maybe this big of a cutting when I stuck it in the soil, and we ate pink currants from this one this year and last year, but this year a few more. Every year it will make more depending on the size of the plant. Here we have a blueberry. Oh, it's nice to be out from the sun. It's nice and cool in the shade. See, it's beautiful to have trees, especially on hot summer days like this one. Here's some of the strawberries. That's the Malvina variety. Oh, by the way, we will have Ostara strawberries, strawberry plants. It's an old variety. We have some growing in pots and some straight in the garden. We'll see how many runners we get this year and if we'll be able to sell some this autumn or next spring. But Ostara is a very beautiful variety. It's ever-bearing. It's supposed to bear fruit or berries from end of July until November in southwest Scotland anyway. Depending if you're in a cooler area, the season might be shorter. But yes, we've been experiencing a lot of fruit for the last few weeks since it started making strawberries, and it has a very beautiful fragrance and taste, very aromatic, very, very tasty like wild strawberries. If you've ever had really good wild strawberries, I had. Here's some chamomile and some raspberries, all gold raspberries, some horseradish, all for sale. Here's the blooms on the Ostara variety of strawberry. We also have some garlic among them, because before we made the fence, I put some garlic in between to protect the plants from hair. They're supposed to not like the smell, so I thought if we don't manage to make a fence, maybe it will deter the hair a bit from munching on the strawberries. And that's some blueberries over there. I'll make sure to put a description of this video to let you know exactly what plants we have, or to approximate at least, because until autumn I won't know exactly. But in general, I think this video, although quite long and a bit rambling, or a bit more rambling, will give you an idea of what to expect from our plants. And we also have mushrooms growing in our garden. Here's a mycelium. This is nice and cool. Wood chips seem dry, and they are dry on top, but they provide a lot of moisture to the plants. And when the temperature is right, around 16-20 degrees, we can also expect edible mushrooms. We've been picking them this year from 5th of May, and even a few days ago we picked some. But yeah, usually they come out in May, June, when the weather is cooler. I love this apple mint we received as a gift from a lady. I sometimes walk through the garden and scrub leaves on my arms, on my neck. It smells, it's apple mint, so it's so nice and fresh. Who needs cream and other stuff to deter mosquitoes? This is very beautiful, beautiful natural smell. Anyway, I'll leave it here for now. If you have any questions, please let me know. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for watching the video. I hope you enjoy the plants and you'll decide to plant at least a couple of them in your garden. And if you have lawn gardens, I hope you'll decide to turn them into beautiful food forests to feed yourself and your family and your community. Thank you again, and have a lovely day.